Hello, Aquarius. I am so excited to talk to you. Your energy is infectious and I love it so much, and I learn from it so much. And I'm so curious about how you all are doing in this point in the year, in this point in the process. When I sat down with your energy, I realized this is the last month of Jupiter in your sign. So this is a real culmination point after a year of working with Jupiter. It's also, I realized, the last year we've had Saturn solely in your sign, and we have another year and some months left of Saturn in your sign. So we're also in, I think the middle of this Saturn work in Aquarius. So it's this kind of interesting point in the whole process where I think, you're some way along in this journey, right? Wherever you are. I don't even know. What does that mean? And just checking in with how did Jupiter and Aquarius feel for you all? I'm actually curious to know how that felt to be in it. But also how has it been working with Saturn in your sign? And how has it been having both of those together this last year? And what has that brought up for you? I think also it's interesting to think about next month, the north node of the moon is going to move out of Gemini and into Taurus. And the north node in Gemini was very much jiving with Aquarian energy, very much air sign based, really opening up your heart. So how has it felt working with that for the last year and a half? Because there have been big questions about how you're moving through this life. So in so many ways, I feel like December for Aquarians is a huge check-in time to really think about how you've grown, how you've changed. Not only that, but this month we have our second of two eclipses. The second one is happening on the 4th. It's a new moon in Sagittarius that will be a solar eclipse. And we also have Venus retrograde beginning on the 19th in your neighboring sign of Capricorn. And that's 12th house spiritual energy. So we're also diving deep behind the scenes, I think, especially with a Venus retrograde, but also with kind of reflecting on what Jupiter in Aquarius has meant for you. And I think that this is a really great time to notice and just pay attention to where have you felt challenged or blocked or frustrated? And is it true that those are real blockages? Sometimes we perceive things like when we haven't finished the project or crossed a threshold, or even when we've gone through some kind of change or transformation that we have been blocked. We perceive those things as these blockages that we're supposed to be somewhere else and we're being blocked from doing them. But I think it's important sometimes to recognize that either it's totally valid to be where you are in that process, whether it be releasing, grieving, creating, and that maybe it's not a blockage. Maybe it's not moving at some speed that we're supposed to be moving at. Maybe it doesn't look like a nice cookie cutter storyline that we see in blockbuster movies all the time. But does that mean that it's wrong? Does it mean that you are truly blocked? Does it mean that you are less worthy? Does it mean that your process is wrong? Because I think one of the important things here in checking in with all you've done in 2021, all you have explored, all you have become, all you have transformed, with that, I think it's important to recognize we each have our own rhythm. We each have our own way of exploring this life. And there really isn't this magical time of this is when it has to get done, and this is when it's valuable, and this is when it's not valuable. And some of us, we move very quickly. We like to do a lot of projects and just see the turnover and just see what happens. Some of us work very slowly and take several months to create that one beautiful thing. And neither of these ways are more valuable than another. Some of them fit our cultural picture more easily and some of them don't. But I want you all to remember to give yourself a break if you are feeling judgmental about 2021, and instead, I want you to relax into December and maybe start to affirm that your process is valid and valuable. And I just want to take care of Aquarians' hearts, because it's been a year. It's been a really powerful year. And I often find with something like Jupiter in your sign, when you're working with Jupiterian energy, it's like having this expansive spotlight just put on you, which in some ways is really exciting. You know, things happen really quickly, things change and morph and grow in these really exciting ways. It's like, wow, this is happening, this is happening. However, one of the other sides of having Jupiter, working with Jupiter, is it will put a spotlight on things that aren't working. It will show you, it will expand something that you just do not enjoy anymore. It will show you the mirror on a relationship that is just not working. It will do all sorts of things like that as well. So it's also kind of an intense time to go through, because you get really honest with what it is that's working and not working. So coming into December, I think my message here is just remember all that you've just done instead of judging it, right? And getting hard on yourself. 3 of Wands came out. Love that card. I also think this is a great time to just check in, like I said, with how you're doing with Saturn. How do you want the next, what is it, like 16 months or something to go for you? You know, how do you want that to feel? How would you like to work with Saturn in a way that feels right for you? Judgment. All right. I love Judgment as well. I think of Saturn often as kind of like our inner fathering. And is it healthy? Is it working? How are we feeling about that inner fathering? You know, because we can have a healthy or an unhealthy relationship with our own inner parent. So checking in with that is really valuable as well. And then, of course, just with this Venus retro, falling back in love with your soul, Aquarius. Kindred spirits showed up here. I love this card. It's so pretty. And by the way, pulling a third card, did not explain this. Pulling a third card from my Oracle of the Hidden Worlds deck, and that is what we're doing today. So that's what this card is. It's our final topping piece to the puzzle. But yes, I want to speak about Venus retrograde for you all in your neighboring sign of Aquarius, and just say Venus retrograde for me is so much more about soul and soulfulness and what we find truly beautiful and existing than it is about just aesthetics. And so in Venus retro in your 12th here, in the hidden part of yourself, it's about falling back in love with your soul, coming home to yourself, remembering your quirky, beautiful, bright self, and like falling completely in love with that again, refreshing your relationship to that again, taking some time with it. So valuable. I think some of the best medicine in the world. So just a reminder, do that for yourself. Let yourself have that, my friends. Remember to take some time to fall in love with your quirky selves. I've fallen in love with you. Okay, so 3 of Wands, your ships are coming in. I do think that this month can be actually quite a clarifying month for a lot of people. And in general, there can be a lot of answers coming in, a lot of closure and openings occurring in just December in general. There's just this kind of sense that we've kind of been through what we've been needing to learn, and now there are these tingling senses of something new coming into the atmosphere. So the 3 of Wands here for me, there's some kind of gift wanting to join you here in life and open the doors and open something. And it's something you've been waiting for. It's something you've been preparing for. It's something that you've been putting the little pieces in order for a while. And you're starting to see that it's coming together. So that's exciting, right? Those longer processes, when we start to notice that something's cohering, I'm getting that sense. And we also have Judgment here. Judgment is actually, it's so funny. I always think with this card, because judgment is so much of the pain of human life, is that we get trained to judge very early, judge ourselves especially, but then of course to judge others, to judge what's good and what's bad, and to judge and put things in categories. So judgment is such a harsh word, but judgment itself is actually, the card is about forgiveness. It's about coming to peace with past pain, past judgments, past old wounds, family hurts, all sorts of things. It's a deep card of forgiveness and illumination of any parts of ourselves that are hurting. And it can be kind of an expansive release of letting go of the old anything that's been holding us that maybe happened in 2021 or 2020, anything that we just feel needs that closure and release. So I'm noticing that there's this combo of energy coming to meet you, as well as the importance of releasing and forgiving anything that needs that at this point in the year. It's a really beautiful time to do some ritual around that, give yourself that grace of release. If there's a relationship you need to just mourn and release, or if there's a letter you need to just write, even just for yourself, about that grace and that release. You don't have to force yourself to be forgiving things if you're not ready. But if there's something that's feeling like it's coming to that conclusion, this is a really beautiful time to do that. It opens up so much energy for the coming year. Now we have for our oracle, the Kindred Spirits card, which is just such a sweet card. Spirit companions, guides, and comfort. And, kindred spirits, first of all, what that makes me think of, I like to imagine all of us goofballs in the world finding each other, not just in like romantic relationships, but finding those communities, finding those people that just feel so comforting. And I just really like to think about us all and Aquarians all having those kindred spirits with them. That's the first thought I have, is like, how great is that? And I love that message, and focusing on those friendships that feel, and those relationships and communities that feel like kindred spirits, and maybe even beginning new friendships or community relationships that feel like kindred spirits. The other part of that message is open yourself to the kindred spirits in the hidden realm as well. Allow yourself to receive help from that hidden energetic realm, and from even just like, your quirky soul self, the soul self you have within you. Remember it. Bring yourself home to it. Let it shine bright. That is what it's all about here, I think. So in general, this is just a month to embrace yourself, and to embrace your journey, and to embrace where you've come to, and to own it. Just to own it, just own the whole thing, own the pace you moved at. Yes, you can own your mistakes. You can own where maybe you want to try things differently, or where you self-abandoned or whatever. Sure, do that too. But also own everything you've learned, own everything you've grown, own your quirky spirit, own your path, own the way you're doing it. Just own it and fall back in love with that whole process again. That's what I want to see for Aquarians. I have a little prayer, a little blessing for December, just something nice to close out our reading with today. So here we go. As we close out this epic year, may you come home to yourself and feel your beautiful heart opening to the future. May new ideas and ways of moving your energy through this life appear and develop. May this be a time of creativity and courage and deep sacred rest all at the same time. Yes, it's possible. And may your magic blossom. I'm so excited. I love when Aquarians' energy is blossoming. It helps us all. But it's not your job to help everybody. Also, just remember that. But a well-lit up Aquarian who's just embraced themselves is a good thing for the world, and so important. So I like to think about that. And when I think about that, I feel inspired to be myself. And I do feel like Aquarians are some of the people that I can trust the most with my quirky self. So thank you all for being you and for being here with me. You really make this life so fun and beautiful. I'm going to be going deep. Patreon's kind of where I feel safe to do some of the deeper digging, personal sharing, all of that, because it's a really beautiful community of kindred spirits. And it's where I'm also going to be doing a lot of the deep diving for Venus retrograde and for North Node moving into Taurus and all of that good stuff. So I'd really love to see you there. If you want to hang out a little more and get to know me, I'd love to hear from you. You can also find me on my website and my Instagram. So I'll let you know how to find me in all the links in the description. I love you guys so much. Have a beautiful December. And I will join you back here so soon. Sending you my love.